Hey guys, it's the Nerdy Movie Guy. So today I'm going to be talking about the movie Saw, the original one that came out in 2004. Now, one thing I found fascinating about the movie Saw is I didn't realize it came out in 2004. The way people talk about it, when I first started getting into horror movies, people talked about Saw as if it came out in the 80s or 90s. You know, they loop Saw in with the classics, at least from what I hear. And it's just one of those franchises that I was surprised to have had so many movies after coming out technically not all that long ago. So that was pretty fascinating to me. Now, the copy I have is the 4K unrated version. Now, this is not the version I've seen. I saw the movie at a friend's house, so I can't really recall if he had the 4K, the Blu-ray, the 4K unrated. I can't remember. I bought this one after watching the movie because I wanted to have it in my physical collection. So regardless, I watched the movie, and what I didn't realize is it had a budget. I believe it said $1 million to $1.2 million. That was the range for a budget that this movie was given. So, like so many horror movies, this one had a technically pretty small budget compared to a lot of blockbusters, and obviously it made a lot of profits, and it continued to have this what I believe 10 movie franchise. So it's pretty fascinating to see something with such a small budget from, just a small group of people, just a handful of people wanting to make a movie like this, and for it to spawn that many movies, to me is pretty impressive. So I appreciated that. And in this movie, a lot of horror movies, and this isn't just for horror, there's a lot of action movies that do this too, where characters are captured in some way and there's torture. This movie kind of takes to a next level, and it kind of utilizes it to where it's not so much in a grotesque way, where they use it as just the formula for the movie's theme, and it's become a theme for the rest of the movies. Now, I haven't seen the rest of them, unfortunately. I have seen Saw X, which came out just not long ago, because I've been told it comes out between, its place in the timeline is between Saw 1 and 2. And I've only seen the first one as of, before I saw it. So, be able to see a movie like this, it kind of relied on, in the beginning, the traps, there weren't, too many. There wasn't a lot in the movie. The detectives in this movie trying to find Jigsaw, trying to find the killer. There's a lot of mystery behind why the primary two people captured were chosen, and what Jigsaw's been doing with the detectives, what kind of clues they're getting. It feels kind of like the background trend is mystery, as far as the theme for this movie with the, heroes. It kind of feels like a mystery. And of course, your two primary characters, they gotta figure out clues of how to get out of the trap. And so, it was an original take on a horror movie. Of course, I don't know if the rest of the movies have something different or more original, but I've only seen the first one and Saw X now, so I can only compare the first one to other horror movies, and to me, this felt like an original idea. Something that just kind of, take that kind of trap idea and just make the villain a little bit more, villainous for doing something like this. A lot of people or characters in movies will capture people for a ransom or for a trade or for money, or whatever. And this movie is a game, so it just kind of makes him a little bit more sadistic, and it kind of just builds him up as a villain even more. And he's just one of those characters that just, I haven't seen the rest of the movies, but you can't root for this guy. He's just that bad of a villain. So that's something I appreciate about this movie is they kind of took the idea of when building the characters, they just went all out, with the villain, heroes with the detective. And they made parts of the script and parts of the character story so complex to where it's kind of this moral gray area with the heroes, the detectives, and the villain. So you kind of get three different character sides, and you don't really feel like any of them are perfect. Everyone has their flaws, which of course is true. This movie kind of utilized that more than others, and it really did feel like an original watch for me. And it was fun, it was a little spooky. It wasn't this, terrifying, it wasn't horrifying. It's creepy enough to where it just kind of, it's unsettling. And I almost appreciate that more, where you can take sort of this original concept, but take sort of some generic formulas and just make it more unsettling, rather than relying on just pop outs than jump scares. And that's what a lot of newer movies now, or at least the ones I hear that, you know, people are having heart attacks by watching the movie at the theaters. A movie like this didn't have to rely on that, so that was another thing that I appreciated. So this is definitely one of my favorites when it comes to horror. I've got so much more to see. There's a lot more Saw movies to watch. But for now, this one was a really cool watch. So if you haven't seen the movie and you want to have it in your physical collection to watch, you know, I believe this was $12. It was a pretty good deal. And I just ordered it off of Amazon. Of course, now I've seen it at Best Buy every now and then. And I've also seen at Walmart, there's this kind of this limited edition Saw collection, and there's also a generic Saw 8 movie collection, which excludes, I believe, Spiral and Saw X. Of course, that's Play-Doh movies to start you guys off with a franchise. So it's a pretty inexpensive franchise as far as the physical media is concerned for this movie. So it was kind of easy to get started. So that's my review on the movie. Thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you guys so much for watching.